When I was a kid, serious music was really supposed to be played for a handful of people, 50, 60 people maybe, if you had that many friends. You know, and the idea that experimental music could be popular on a comparatively vast scale was just not even considered. And I think there's a certain amount of, well, just downright jealousy about that, you know. But this music after the Second World War, which was just so boring, you know. And we had to listen to it for so long. And they got stuck with it, you know. And then a bunch of people came along and said, well, we just don't want to listen to that anymore. I began studying music when I was 8. Not began when I was 6, actually, but I didn't get serious until I was 8. Then I became very involved with music. And I think I took my last music lesson when I was 28, so I had 20 years. It's really a long haul. I had written over 70 pieces, 4 or 5 string quartets and concertos and orchestra pieces and all kinds of stuff, garbage, a lot of it. But vocal stuff, all manner of things. I guess what really happened is at a certain point I felt that the music wasn't mine, that I felt I had to have my own voice. And I was kind of consciously covering ground in a way. And at a certain point I had gotten all this music behind me in a way, and I just kind of abandoned it really. I didn't hear my own voice in it at all. I didn't have any trouble dropping it. It was a combination of kind of desperation and frustration, and I just hated the music that was all around me. And I just wanted to start someplace else. It was so heavy. The Stockhausen burlesque trip still is. I mean, they're still there. We did a Beckett piece called Comedy. I remember this was 1965, and at that time it happened that I was also working with Ravi Shankar on a film score. It was his score, and this is in Paris. I was hired to notate the music, which was very interesting. I didn't know anything about Indian music at the time. I had to figure out how to take that music that he would play it for me, and I would write it down. And we had some studio musicians that were French musicians, and they had to read it. So it was the effort of translating it. I learned a lot about his music just in doing that. And I got the idea of working in a rhythmic structure rather than a, let's say, a harmonic or narrative structure. One of the problems with this early structural music was that it took pages and pages of notation to write it out. What I used to do is I used to paste the music on the wall. It was just impossible. We tried everything. We even tried projecting the score on a screen. And I would change the page with a foot pedal. Yeah. And but the trouble was that sometimes, you know, the slides don't work right. Sometimes I'll go backwards instead of forwards. Yeah. So I had little accidents like that happen. I saw that wasn't going to work. But I had a notational problem, really, that I had not been prepared for, even though I had written a lot of conventional music. None of that had prepared me for the problem of notating my own music. And one of the interesting things about inventing a new music is that almost invariably you need a new notation to go with it.